One of the first things you notice about Norway when you visit is how beautiful it is. But there's a very dark side of Norway that most of the world knows nothing about. It's called Barnevernet, and it can be as brutal as the Norwegian winter. Barnevernet means child welfare. It's Norway's network of local child protection offices, but to its victims, Barnevernet means anything but protecting children. After moving to Norway from Atlanta last year, American mother Natalia Shatakova's 3 American-born children were taken in May by Barnevernet for alleged child mistreatment. Shatakova says she and her Lithuanian husband were jailed for 24 hours and told they could get 2 years in prison for discussing the case. They're waiting to hear if they'll lose custody of their children for good. Foreigners living in Norway seem especially at risk of having their children taken by Barnevernet.
Somebody please help our family. Barnevernet is here in our home, and they're trying to take my son. I'm Canadian.
Barnevernet took the Christensen's son Kai after they started homeschooling him because he received death threats at school.
My son is not under arrest. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Look what you're doing. You leave him alone. He has done nothing. You leave him alone. Can somebody please help us?
And it was Barnevernet that took 5 children from Romanian and Norwegian parents Marius and Ruth Bodnario in 2016. Barnevernet claimed the reason was the parents were spanking. But an investigation revealed the real reason was officials believed the Bodnario children were being indoctrinated into Christianity by their parents. Worldwide outrage forced the Norwegian government to return the children. The Bodnarios escaped from Norway and have filed suit before the European Court of Human Rights. The government of Norway defends Barnevernet against what it calls wild accusations. And the agency probably does some good work. But if there's not a problem, why does a nation of 5 million people have so many cases before the European Court of Human Rights? 26 cases pending before the court, 17 of the last 18. A staggering number for one of the smallest nations in Europe.
There are 26 cases in total. At this stage, there will probably rise to 30 by within a few months.
Marius Reikerås is a Norwegian human rights counsel before the European Court of Human Rights.
There is something severely wrong going on in Norway, that you're taking children out of well-working families. We're not talking about child abuse. We're not talking about alcoholism or drug abuse, or we're talking about, in general, normal families that have all the capabilities to provide good care for their children.
Einar Salvesen is a Norwegian psychologist and has been an expert witness in Barnevernet court cases since 1995. And he says Barnevernet needs to be shut down immediately.
Actually, you need to close down all the offices. It's 400 offices. It has become a system of evil in too many cases.
Takk for budet.
In 2013, Barnevernet took American citizen Amy Jacobsen Bjornevag's 1.5-year-old son Tyler because he was 1 pound underweight. She phoned the Obama White House asking for help.
They have legally kidnapped my child, and I need help.
But she got no help, and 6 years later, her son Tyler has been passed from foster home to foster home and has had his name changed at least twice. And Amy alleges that he has been tortured.
We do have paperwork that says that he was tied to the bed because he kept standing up in his crib calling for mommy. It isn't to know that he's been calling for you, and they completely ignore it. And they do everything to make him stop calling, so they cut all contact. That's their solution, instead of working with families.
Czech member of the European Parliament Tomáš Zedekovský has battled Barnevernet, and he calls it a monster.
I think that they made a lot of mistakes, and they are still doing a lot of mistakes. And this monster is really functioning without any control of somebody.
Reikerås believes Barnevernet has not been reined in because this is about a lot of money, and he's not afraid to call it child trafficking.
Because we see that billions and billions of dollars are being put into the system each year. And of course, a lot of people are profiting big time from this. So saying that this is a form of child trafficking, absolutely, in my opinion, yes.
We presented these charges to Norway's Ministry of Children and Families, and it told us that Barnevernet is in the process of being reformed for the strengthening of legal safeguards for both children and their parents. It's unclear whether Norway is serious about reform. It expelled a Polish diplomat this year for trying to defend Polish families in Norway from Barnevernet. The U.S. government has so far done nothing about the attacks against American families in Norway by the Norwegian government. Amy Jacobsen Bjornevag continues to lose in court and wonders now if she will ever again regain custody of her son.
And I'd do anything to hold him in my arms at least one time, for him to have some sort of sense of where he comes from and his background, his family. I have a whole family who loves him and misses him.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.